got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas touch and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job. The Three Wise Men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is in no doubt an astounding work of art. Originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodun Shodende in 1991 and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta, the three sculptured chiefs were placed along the Lagos-Ibadan toll gate to welcome people coming into Lagos State. The statue called the Three Wise Men by many has become a major signature for the state. Three white-capped chiefs clad in white wrappers knotted across their shoulders and with clenched right fists are shown in the artwork. The images fascinate and create impressions in the minds of visitors coming into the state, captivating the attention of visitors who look with keen interest, pondering on the messages which the posture of the engraved images signifies. The Three Wise Men has been relocated thrice from its original position at Ojodu Berger end of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to Magodo area before its final relocation to its present site at Olowopopo Drive. The sculpture has suffered severe damages over the years and renovated. Bodun Shodende, through this sculpture, depicted the highest honor that can be afforded to anyone in the eco-greeting tradition. The Three Wise Men, Arometa, Souq, Enlightenment.
In the news. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Souq News. I am Grace Komolafe. Before we move on with the stories on our bulletin, remember to follow us on all our social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Kindly like and share. And now to the story. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has adjusted the forex rate for the clearance of goods at various import points, raising it by 18.44 naira from 1,593.84 naira per dollar to 1,612.28 naira per dollar, as reported by the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, exchange rate portal. Implemented earlier this week, the new rate aligns with the prevailing market rate on that day, where the naira closed at 1,617.96 naira to the US dollar on the official window. This move follows the CBN's commitment, as stated by the Nigerian Customs Board, to regularly update the FX rate for goods clearance in line with the CBN's official market rate, following the floating of the naira. Amid concerns from the business community regarding rate fluctuation and confusion during Form M filling for imports, the CBN introduced a policy in February stipulating that the FX rate on the Form M date would be used for clearance. aiming to mitigate confusion and in planning for both customs and businesses. And moving on, the Nigerian National Automotive Design and Development Council is set to establish standards for electric and compressed natural gas (CNG) vehicles across the country. The Director General of the Council, Joseph Osanikmi, who revealed this at a workshop in Nasarawa, north central part of the country, noted that the agency also plans to validate the national occupational standards for electric and CNG vehicles conversion and maintenance. He highlighted the workshop's goal to create a framework for skill development and standardized procedures in vehicle energy source conversion, calibration, and maintenance. According to him, these efforts aim to spur job creation, curb greenhouse gas emissions, and bolster the automotive sector, also underscoring the importance of the Nigerian Automotive Industry Development Plan 2023 to 2033, initiated by the federal government to rejuvenate the automotive industry through technological advancement and skill enhancement. And away from that, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has called on the Nigerian government to address the soaring price of essential goods such as food, drugs, and transportation by implementing social protection measures, while stressing the necessity of easing the burdens faced by Nigerians due to the removal of fuel subsidies by the current administration. IMF's Director of Communications, Julie Kozak, stressed the urgency of mitigating food insecurity, especially with food price inflation soaring to 35% year-on-year in January. The recently approved targeted social safety net program aimed at providing cash transfers to vulnerable households is seen as a crucial step in alleviating this hardship. Additionally, he commended the recent actions of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee for tightening monetary policy as a position and positive move to combat inflation and stabilize the naira amidst heightened inflationary pressures. The Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has revealed that Nigeria's agricultural exports have encountered challenges meeting the international sanitary and sanitary standards, resulting in rejection overseas. Despite this setback, Okonjo-Iweala stressed the country's potential to thrive in agricultural exports, highlighting the importance of overcoming existing barriers. Specifically, she pointed out issues with cowpea and sesame exports facing rejections due to non-compliance with international standards. To address these challenges, the WTO is collaborating with stakeholders to enhance capacity across the value chains of sesame and cowpeas, with a focus on improving agricultural practices and market access understanding. This initiative, backed by $1.2 million in funding, aims to bolster Nigeria's non-oil exports. Also, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Doris Anete affirmed the government's commitment to facilitating trade and investment, including the implementation of the 50 billion naira presidential conditional grant scheme through the Bank of Industry to support various economic players. And still on agriculture, we'll take a report speaking to the country's potentials, challenges, and way forward. Please stay. Agriculture plays an important role in the economic growth of any nation. In Nigeria, it accounts for approximately 23% of Nigeria's GDP, with an extensive land area of 34 million hectares, including 6.5 million for permanent crops. The nation excels in various agricultural productions, standing out in palm oil, cocoa beans, pineapple, and sorghum. It is ranked among the top 5 world largest sorghum producer, with a 7% making up the 73% from these 5 countries. It is also ranked 5th in palm oil and cocoa beans production. The country is a significant global exporter, particularly in oil, fruits, nuts, and seeds. Agriculture not only drives economic growth but also provides livelihoods for many Nigerians, particularly in rural areas where 70% of households engage in crop farming and 41% are involved in livestock ownership or raising. This stands in contrast to the restricted wealth distribution of the oil sector. Despite the promise and potentials and available resources, the nation continues to deal with significant issues within this particular domain. The absence of sufficient infrastructure, restricted access to fundamental necessities like water, electricity, and transportation, particularly for farmers in rural areas, poses daunting challenges that demand immediate action. As Nigeria harnesses its agricultural strength, the sector emerges as a key force for fostering economic inclusivity and sustainable progress, underscoring the need for concerted efforts from government and stakeholders to address obstacles and enhance productivity. Grace Komolafe, Souq News. The country is so blessed, and we hope that stakeholders will be able to explore all chances to ensure transformed farming and thriving agricultural system in Nigeria. And moving ahead, the Financial Reporting Council, FRC, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, to strengthen already existing partnership and ensure future sustainable financing reports. The Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Council, Rabiu Olowo, acknowledged ACCA's unwavering support, which led to the signing of the agreement to solidify their commitment to collaboration around crucial issues such as financial reporting, corporate governance, and the emerging realm of sustainability reporting. He also noted that their mission extended beyond promoting the work of accountants to ensuring credible financing reporting, which was a shared objective with the ACCA. The National Pension Commission, PENCOM, has disclosed that the nation's pension fund assets reached 19.5 trillion naira by the end of January 2024, up from 18.36 trillion naira in December 2023, reflecting a significant 1.17 trillion naira growth attributed to forex-dominated investments by closed pension fund administrators, CPFAs, and existing schemes. A breakdown of the asset revealed that 12.14 trillion naira was allocated to FGN securities, with bonds accounting for 11.59 trillion naira, treasury bills 221.18 billion naira, agency bonds 14.86 billion naira, Souq bonds 124.18 billion naira, and green bonds 181.57 billion naira. PENCOM's unaudited report on pension funds industry portfolio for the period ended January 31, 2024, disclosed additional investment of 270 billion naira in state government securities and 1.71 trillion naira in money market instruments. On scale acquisition, UNICEF has partnered with the Borno State government to train 4,800 out-of-school youths in the state on various skills acquisition with the aim to assist them in lucrative livelihood. The trainees are to acquire skills in tailoring and fashion design, barbing and hairdressing, welding and aluminium fabrication, among many others. Through the funding from the government of Norway, UNICEF will be supporting the Borno State government through the Ministry of Education, Science, Technology and Innovation to train these adolescents out of school youth by 2025. UNICEF Maiduguri Field Office Chief Flong Nguyeng said at the flag-off of the first batch of 1,000 trainees in Maiduguri. And in a concerted effort to tackle the proliferation of fake drugs and unsafe products, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has taken swift action in closing down 10 unregistered bakeries and 8 table water factories located in Rivers State, South Nigeria. This move, conducted over 3 days in collaboration with police personnel, underscores NAFDAC's commitment to upholding regulatory standards and ensuring consumer safety. NAFDAC's director for the South-South Zone, Chukwuma Oligbo, highlighted concerning findings of unhygienic condition and unauthorized use of reputable brand names in Port Harcourt, necessitating rigorous enforcement measures. The operation also revealed deficiencies in registration and licensing across various establishments, including pharmacies and supermarkets, prompting NAFDAC to emphasize compliance and consequences for non-compliance. The Nigerian Customs Service Sokoto Zamfara Area Command has released 15 seized trucks of grain back to their owners in compliance with a directive from President Tinubu to boost food security and sufficiency in Nigerian markets. Abdullahi Abubakar, the command's public relations officer, confirmed this development in a statement on Tuesday, emphasizing the presidential directive. The customs area controller, Kamal Muhammad, while handling over the truck at the command's headquarters in Sokoto, urged traders to ensure the grains are sold within Nigerian markets. He stressed the need for vigilance, stating that the command, alongside the customs intelligence unit and joint border patrol team, would monitor the sales to prevent smuggling of the grain out of the country, reinforcing the prohibition of grain export. And we'd like to take a break and return shortly for more stories. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job. Idumota Market. Eko Idumota, once a residential neighborhood, is home to Idumota Market, located on Lagos Island. It is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade, and later, under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an Armed Forces Remembrance Cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota Market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. The energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Market, Souq Enlightenment.
Glad to know you are still there. Don't forget to comment and share. Also follow us on all our social media platforms if you're yet to do so. Taking you to some other stories, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says February consumer prices showcased resilience with inflation pressures persisting. The Consumer Price Index (CPI) revealed a 0.4% month-over-month increase and a 3.2% rise from the previous year, surpassing expectations and marking a significant acceleration since September. Similarly, the core CPI excluding food and gas prices demonstrated robust growth, climbing 0.4% month-over-month and 3.8% year-over-year, surpassing economists' forecasts. These encouraging figures, released ahead of the Federal Reserve's upcoming policy decision, have ignited optimism for continued economic strength. Markets now anticipate a near certain stance of unchanged rates next week, with expectations of potential rate cuts starting as early as June, reflecting confidence in the economy's resilience amidst inflationary pressures. Notable drivers of inflation, such as rising shelter costs and energy prices, underscore the economic's buoyancy and capacity for sustained growth. Moving ahead, the momentum on the Nigerian exchange continued for the 7th consecutive day, driving the market capitalization to a new high of 58.53 trillion naira. The all-share index increased by 1.45%, closing at 103,524.44%, surpassing a previous milestone achieved in February. The sustained upward trend coincided with expectations surrounding the release of the February Consumer Price Index, which could influence the Central Bank of Nigeria's upcoming Monetary Policy Committee meeting. Notable performers included Souq, Access Holdings, and Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC, mirroring the trends observed in the previous trading session. Gainers such as United Bank for Africa, MTN Nigeria, and Julius Berger outshone losers like Tantalizer, Nascon, Allied Industries, and Morrison Industries PLC. Trading activity remained active, with investors exchanging 565.79 million units of shares valued at 14.23 billion naira in 519 deals. Africa must begin to work on the synchronization of its data as a way to curb the rising rate of mismanagement of funds. The Vice President, Femi Wash Media Limited, Idahosa Osamaze, gave this heads up while featuring on Souq Pulse, one of the major programs on Souq News. While stressing the need for a change of mindset, especially as it regards the individual, he noted that the way some government agencies are run will make it challenging to curb the menace of corruption. According to him, African leaders must be able to demonstrate by words and deeds that they mean well for the citizens, adding that appealing to ethnicity and religious sentiments should be totally eroded. You can catch up with this episode on our YouTube channel at Souq News TV. And away from Nigeria, Ivory Coast market regulator has issued a warning to cocoa exporters, cautioning against paying prices exceeding the mandated rates for beans delivered to their facilities at the country's ports, with penalties including fines and license revocation for violators. This comes amidst Ivory Coast and Ghana experiencing their worst harvest in years, with Ivorian arrivals down over 28% compared to the previous season, leading to a scarcity of supply and record high prices in London and New York. The Coffee and Cocoa Council highlighted the surge in bean purchases and observed instances of exporters overpaying for cocoa. While farmers are permitted to earn above a minimum price, fixed prices along the cocoa supply chain forbid overpayment. Additionally, they warned cooperatives and up-country buyers against stockpiling beans, mandating the sale of stock to exporters within 21 days. Failure to comply risks confiscation of stocks and suspension from the purchasing system. Despite soaring global cocoa prices, the regulator intends to maintain its price scale unchanged for the upcoming mid-crop harvest. The UAE Cybersecurity Council has unveiled the State of the UAE Cybersecurity Report 2024, highlighting the present nature of the situation. The report identifies over 155,000 vulnerable assets within the UAE, with more than 40% of critical vulnerabilities remaining unaddressed for over 5 years. This vulnerability, combined with the surge in advanced cyber attacks such as ransomware, underscores the crucial requirement for robust cyber defenses in a region at the forefront of AI-driven technological innovations and geopolitical significance. The government, energy, and information technology sector are primary targets of cyber threat actions, with traditional attack vectors such as business email compromise, BEC, and phishing remaining prevalent, necessitating a defense mechanism to protect the nation. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Al-Kuwaiti, head of cybersecurity for the UAE government, emphasized the imperative for collective vigilance and strategic actions in reducing the UAE's vulnerability to these threats. And still in the Middle East, Dubai Taxi Company has entered partnership with ENOC Group to equip its extensive fleet of 7,800 vehicles with mobile, secure, and automated refueling services. This collaboration aims to enhance operational efficiency, optimize cost, and develop refueling operations with sophisticated services augmented by artificial intelligence. Under the agreement, ENOC will provide refueling services for all Dubai Taxi fleet vehicles, including taxi, airport taxi, limousines, and delivery bikes. The partnership signifies a significant milestone in the growing strategic relationship between DTC and ENOC Group, ensuring the delivery of innovative services to fuel the company's extensive fleet efficiency. Let's catch some breath as you watch exciting shout-out from fans, friends, and partners all over the world. We'll be right back.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you're on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News, who had the courage to transcend a locked-off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
Welcome back, and now to the rest of the news. The European Union, EU, has disclosed plans to provide around $8 billion support to Egypt as part of efforts to stabilize its economy. This is coming on the heels of over $40 billion investment and support from the United Arab Emirates, UAE, International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. One is a short-term deal amounting to $1.5 billion, while the other is a larger package totaling $6 billion, intended to span 2.5 years. The disbursement of funds would be contingent upon Egypt's commitment to implementing a series of reforms. Furthermore, efforts are on the way to finalize a joint declaration to broaden their collaboration in various domains such as economic stability, migration, security, and water management, even as European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen plans to visit Cairo on Sunday, coinciding with the intended signing of the declaration by the parties. Moving on, the British government has stressed the necessity of constructing new gas plants or refurbishing existing ones to enhance energy security and mitigate the risk of blackout, while the country strives to expand its nuclear and wind power capacities to meet climate targets and ensure energy supply. It acknowledged the essential role of increased gas generation as backup. Energy Minister Claire Coutinho underscored the importance of gas as a reliable backup for renewables, highlighting the genuine risk of blackouts without it. As aging power plants shut down, around 5 gigawatts of capacity from either new gas plants or refurbished older ones will be needed, with a focus on ensuring they are net zero ready for future transition to cleaner energy sources like hydrogen fuel and carbon capture technology. Critics urged that relying on new gas capacity could hinder climate goals and prolong dependence on costly fossil fuels, while proponents assert that zonal electricity pricing proposed by the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero DESNZ could optimize supply and demand, ultimately lowering costs for consumers across the country. Still in Britain is set to sign a memorandum of understanding on trade with Texas, marking the largest U.S. state-level trade pact yet, aimed at fostering increased investment opportunities. Amidst negotiations for a federal-level free trade agreement following President Joe Biden's inauguration, Britain has been actively pursuing a state-level agreement with U.S. states. The forthcoming agreement with Texas, the second-largest U.S. state economy, revealed Britain's strategy to expand its economic reach and provide British businesses with access to a combined GDP of £5.3 trillion, equivalent to a quarter of the entire U.S. economy. Business and Trade Secretary Kemi Badnoch hailed the development, emphasizing the success of Britain's state-level strategy in delivering tangible benefits to British businesses. The agreement with Texas, targeting key sectors such as energy, life sciences, and professional services, followed a similar pact with Florida 4 months earlier. Moving ahead, Taiwan's central bank governor Yang Qianlong says the country's consumer price index CPI would increase by less than 2% this year, signaling a gradual implementation of a mild tightening policy amid curbing inflation expectations. Despite February's CPI climbing to a 19-month high at 3.08%, primarily due to elevated food prices during the Lunar New Year holiday. The government anticipates a downward trajectory in inflation rates and easing inflationary pressures, while Yang hinted at a potential continuation of Taiwan's interest rate hike cycle. The bank, at its previous quarterly board meeting in December, opted to maintain its policy rates unchanged at 1,875%, unchanged since March last year. Although core inflation is forecasted to decrease in 2024, the bank remains open to future rate adjustment, with the next rate settling meeting scheduled for March 21. Additionally, the central bank anticipates improved export-driven economic growth for the island nation this year compared to 2023, while disclosing a net selling of US dollars totaling $2.77 billion for 2023. Toyota Motor has agreed to grant factory workers their largest part raise in 25 years, joining other major Japanese companies like Panasonic and Nissan in meeting union demands for significant wage increase as part of the annual negotiations. This move heightened expectations that the Bank of Japan may shift its key policy next year, potentially ending its year-long negative interest rate policy. The agreement signals a departure from the traditional collaborative relationship between Japanese management and labor, with unions across various industries, including automobiles and electronics, pushing for substantial pay hikes. Economists view these wage increases as crucial for the Bank of Japan to achieve its goals of sustainable wage growth and stable prices, possibly leading to the end of negative interest rates. With workers at major firms seeking annual increases exceeding 5%, analysts anticipate this year's wage hikes to surpass 5%, marking the largest increase in over 3 decades. Away from that, German sportswear company Adidas has disclosed its first annual loss in over 3 decades, attributing the downturn to struggles in the North American market, with projections indicating further sales declines in the region due to surplus inventory and subdued demand. The company's decision to discontinue its collaboration with Kanye West in 2022, halting sales of the Yeezy sneaker line, has compounded its challenges. Under CEO Bijan Gordon leadership, marked by a focus on liquidating remaining Yeezy stock while amplifying sales of flagship products like the Samba and Gazelle shoes, Adidas navigated through adversity, ending 2023 on a slightly more positive note than initially anticipated. Looking ahead, the company forecasts a resurgence in its core business, excluding Yeezy, with double-digit growth anticipated in the later half of 2024. Seeking to reclaim market shares in the face of waning consumer interest in sportwear, Adidas has capitalized on trends such as low-rise suede sneakers, driving up footwear sales. And lastly, PwC Australia has announced an additional 329 job cuts as part of the major restructuring following a scandal involving a former partner leaking government tax plans. This reduction, approximately 5% of the staff, will be accompanied by the up to 37 partners accelerating their retirement over 9 months. CEO Kelvin Burrows emphasized the importance of realigning the business structure with the new long-term strategy amidst the challenging process. This cut supplements the 338 announced in November. Since the scandal surfaced in January 2023, PwC spun off its government consulting practice to Allegro Funds, with around 1,400 staff transitioning to the new firm. Now, named Synchro adversary, PwC assured affected employees of opportunities to apply for new roles resulting from the changes, with no hiring freeze and new partner appointments slated for July. And that's the news at 3 p.m. on Souq News. On behalf of the news team, many thanks for always watching News Hour. Remember to share your feedback via our social media platforms. I am Grace Komolafe. Enjoy the rest of your day.